Okay.
Anybody else see the fan? You seen the?
No, I haven't. Was there more crap in there?
Yeah.
I get so sick of those. Thing is, it's an echo chamber. I don't think there's that many that gets on there. It's gotten so bad.
Which one's this? Because I haven't been on any of them.
You know, Lisa Holmes doing a much better job of policing mortgage loans. That's just a cesspool. Even
Okay, let's go ahead and begin. We'll call this meeting to order of the Oregon Council of Governments, Monday, October 24th, 2022 at 4 p.m. And thanks for making this time work for you. Typically, we wouldn't have it this night. We came to be here. First item on the agenda is the minutes. Does anyone have an opportunity to review the minutes and ready to make a motion?
There was one item that was wrong.
Oh, okay.
I don't have it in front of me right now. Down near the bottom, last time's minutes, there was county council versus county commission.
oh,
No,
Should have been county council versus county.
no, it should have been county commission.
Commission version.
Oh, okay.
And what is that? Oh, county commission.
See, any other corrections?
Thanks, Wayne.
No, yeah,
Someone prepared to make a motion?
I move that we accept, move that we approve the agenda of September 19th, 2022.
The minutes
The minutes,
minutes.
that's correct.
with the correction.
I'll second that.
Motion by Wayne, second by Brett. Any other discussion on the minutes? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items for discussion, new growth updates. Apparently we don't have anything from the county, right, Denise?
No.
No.
But we do have some from the city. Yours in the packet is not totally correct. Because the only change is there's in 2022 in October, there's 2 single family that should be in the listed there. 2 single family, nothing on the multi. Also Denise ran a we have that little we have Denise.
Oh, yeah.
Already put this together, so this is kind of give you an idea of where all of these subdivisions are. And most of this is up in Mahogany Ridge. So you can see she's numbered them. So kind of give you an idea of where everything is. What wouldn't be up there would be the rough subdivision, which is over off of Island Road, which by the way, they are beginning to work on now, beginning to do some good work over there. And the other one would be the Riverstone Townhome, which of course is already involved in the contract. That doesn't run is again the other one on the rock. That was just about filled out. Yeah, I think all the lots are bought except for one.
Down by the detention basin.
So yeah, that gives you an idea where the subdivisions are. Oh yeah, she has them on that side.
So there's the other one.
Yeah, there's the other one there. Oops. All right, let's see, any comments or discussion on the new growth updates?
There has been one, but it won't affect us much. There's been at least one. At Los Angeles.
Hey, let's get you throw that back.
one building
What,
permit.
North
One building,
Lockwood?
one building permit that I know of as of,
What's
Okay.
is
and there could have been more sense, but they've sold.
the one that's being built.
I'm
right
thinking
now is-
55.
Well,
55 lots
Hollow
on
is all-
77 or 80
Could put a hole.
right now.
Yeah, number 2.
Number two, and Valley Vista, the other one.
Yes.
Oh,
The Valley,
2 acres.
Valley Vista is, single family residential.
Okay,
And I'm not sure about the 20 lots, so that one's being built as we speak as well, so. I guess for members of the school board, for the runs about built, Valley Vista is getting there and rough subdivision is worldwide. The rough subdivision is just now underway, so. Riverstone Townhomes, looks like there's a couple of those that are getting close to completion as well, so. So, good luck. All right. Any other comments? Okay, Lenny, you will get to speak to us about the local auction sales.
would you like my true honest opinion? Can I say on the record or off the record?
Well, it's being recorded, so if you want,
It's on the record.
Speaking honest,
I'd rather not speak at this moment.
no comment.
No comment at this moment. I will
There
talk
we
to you in private after.
Okay, I'll ask you yes, no question. Please, the county council, yes. Sales tax options,
We passed it in June last year.
okay. But we are waiting on
The resolution.
the resolution.
Something like that.
So we don't know when it will go into effect.
As of right now, it won't go into effect and probably until April. If we're lucky,
Is that's when you would start collecting it?
that's when you would start collecting. Now, if you'd like to talk to me in private later, I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna do it here.
So if I said, what's the holdup? There's
Don't.
No comment,
No comment.
okay? Okay,
I will talk to you in executive session if you'd like.
do we have that on our agenda?
No, but you can put it in.
Can we do that, go through the executive session?
does it meet the rules though?
Yeah, it would be confidence.
It would be.
No, I don't. Oh, yes.
Confidence.
Yeah, if you want to go in an executive session, you will, you know, what, after the meeting, it's allowed.
We will do it at the end of the.
We're okay then. All right,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
All right, update on the Young Street Bridge construction funding from COG. Ty is incognito. Mayor, do you have anything?
I thought I saw him on there.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
I'm sorry, Ty, I didn't mean to fish you.
No problem.
Oh, Young Street Bridge construction funding from COG. You're the man.
Yep, so I was just gonna provide an update. So the project's out to bid. The bids close this week. So we'll evaluate bids. It'll take a couple weeks to evaluate bids to select a contractor, but what the bid will do is it'll give us the contractor, the time frame, and the funding. So once we know what the bid amount is, we'll be able to start the process of maybe borrowing the money.
Whoops,
He froze.
you're frozen.
Start putting the bonding plan in place to start that process. So for COG, second option, that's what I'd like to have the COG discuss, is the local option sales tax portion that comes to the COG as a revenue bond. And so I'd come back next month with at least we would know what the dollar amount being borrowed would be, if the COG would entertain that as a funding source. And if that doesn't pass, then the city's gonna have to do its own revenue bond. So those are the kind of the three funding options where we're at. So construction will be next year. It'll start in the spring and finish in the fall.
Ty, you
Yep.
cut out on the first option. Did you guys hear the first option?
No.
Can you repeat the first option?
We lost you for about 30 seconds, Ty.
Oh, sorry about that. Maybe I should shut my camera off. It's overworking the the little cell phone here. But so the first option is we've requested a $2 million appropriation from the federal government that had passed the House for the October budget cycle, and then they did a continuing resolution. So we never did find out if the Senate was on board or not. They did a continuing resolution till December. So if the federal government passes their budget in December, we will know if we're going to be awarded that 2 million or not. So
Okay.
it's money and timing, right? But now that we're pushed off till December, we're going to need to at least start the process of a revenue bond probably next month. And so it takes about 60 to 90 days to put a bond in place. But the portion that we would be asking the COG, I don't think we know what that dollar amount is yet, right?
Well, so correct me if I misspeak here, anyone. But it was my understanding that last month, I believe it was Julie that had put together some figures. But
Yeah.
I thought she said that 1/4% sales, or one of those 1/4% sales taxes was actually had to go through COG. It was, what's the word I'm looking for here? COG would be the one that would distribute that money, so.
Prioritize it. That's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that was the third quarter.
she
The
said
third
that was,
quarter.
she said that she thought that would be around about 500,000 or $500,000, I guess annually, I suppose, but anyway, so is that what she said? That's what I remember her saying.
That
So,
would be
but
a
that-
good estimate.
Yeah.
So
But that-
it wouldn't.
that may not go into effect with it. That may not even, we may not even start collecting that. The county may not even start collecting that until April.
Yeah.
So,
But on a revenue bond, we can just, if the COG's okay and the county agrees, it wouldn't, once we know the amount, we can estimate the bond payment. And I don't think it would take that entire amount on an annual basis. You know, it depends on the terms.
okay,
But we have to kind of build that scenario planning on that federal appropriation not coming through.
so
But
so what you're
Go ahead.
saying is, at least for right now, we're sort of shooting in the dark until we get some numbers.
Yep. Yeah, it took us quite a bit of work to have the project go forward without having our match identified. UDOT requires your match to be in place before they put it out to bid, but they agreed to this process. You know, I told them I have option A, B, and C. And I was hoping that the federal government, you know, the federal budget would have been passed in October. That would have really told us where we stand, right? But now I'm just saying the COG would be the next next option, and we need to put a plan in place. So next month I'll probably come with some financing proposals, because we'll have a dollar amount, and then I'll outline kind of the what that would look like, so the COG has an idea of what the annual payment would be. And even though the money hasn't been collected, or, you know, we can still probably obligate it. And our first bond payment, we would just push off until a year from,
Year,
yeah, after the first year, maybe 2 years because of construction. But that's a decision for the COG. I just wanted to let you know where I was at with the project so that you have a month to kind of think about it and go, just see if there's support for that strategy. And of course, it would be a contingent, right? It would be, let's get everything in place. Let's work on the bond. And then if the federal government comes in with the money, then we just walk away from but we have to at least start that.
walk down that path.
Yep.
Then, and when did you say the bids were due, Ty?
This week, the 27th, they're due. And so they probably won't get looked at for 2 weeks. Because we have to put a whole committee together. You know what I mean?
But we'll
And
know
scheduling.
that, we'll know that at the next COG meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So thanks so much. That's all I.
Anyone have any questions for Ty?
No, thanks.
Hey, Ty, thanks for the update.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Okay. Moving on. We have reports from COG members assigned to attend the Wasatch Front Regional Council meetings. Blaine and Robert McConnell, the Wasatch Front Economic Development District.
Wasatch Regional Council meeting is this Thursday. The last one is September. Whenever they had it.
September 21st.
Wasn't much done, in my opinion.
What?
Otherwise, I would see a lot of notes here. But
Okay.
there's not. But the Wasatch Front Region Economic Development one is moving along. As far as my complaints to Wasatch Front Regional Council, I have given them a boatload, and we'll see what happens at our next meeting. That's about all I can tell you.
Okay.
I would like to know though from each one of you, if there's something I should be doing that you want me to try to accomplish with Wasatch Front Regional Council. Because my opinion is, and I've expressed this opinion to Andrew, everything seems to be for the Wasatch Front. All the monies go straight to the Wasatch Front. We are getting nothing except for technical help when we supposedly would want it. Sorry, so that is the questions I have, and I have basically stated my opinions to them that we are not getting the help that we should be getting.
I concur. I've felt that way for some time, so.
That's what I voiced down.
And I voiced it also down at One Utah Summit when I was there 2 weeks ago. The same thing, especially with the Wasatch Front Regional Economic Development Group. And I also voiced it with someone else. I can't remember exactly who, but they know my concerns and they know not my problems. They know my reasonings for, why are we even involved with them? The other AOGs are the same way. They're all working together, but we seem to be put off into a corner of the map of Utah. Tooele gets more than we do. And now Box Elder gets more than we do. I didn't even know they were part of Wasatch Front Regional Council. But I guess they are. And so there's some complaints I've had with them and concerns, and we've been discussing them, and we're going to see what happens between now and the end of the year.
Well, I've felt that way for some time as well, that we just don't get much bang for our buck with the Wasatch Front Regional Council, so.
I tried to put in for a grant. They told me, we don't qualify.
Yeah.
We don't qualify.
Your median household income's too much,
Right.
so.
Flat out, I read the email, I could send it to you, I sent it to Blaine. He said you and Morgan don't qualify for it, that's why they have the JAC. Joint Highway Commission, and that's the grants that I've got since I've got here.
Yeah.
I've actually got, almost $5 million. Two, yeah, I got 2.5 million for this road project. When you see me do Morgan Valley Drive, the whole thing, that was 2.5 million. And then I have one waiting for the old highway. Same thing that I've done on Morgan Valley Drive, same thing for the old highway. We'll design next fall and hopefully build in 2024.
However, some of the things that we have also been doing, I've been working with them on is the safety aspects of the roads and the transportation. I relate it to Brett, how they need to widen them. In fact, we've got another meeting coming up on November 3rd. That is just Summit County, Morgan County.
Is that the meeting in the afternoon?
Yeah, the one in the afternoon in Colville.
I'll be
Yeah.
there.
So you'll be there and I'll be there. So that one is going to be about you know what it's going to be about. And whatever way and direction we need to make sure we talk to people about whatever we need to do for us.
Yeah,
For
what
us
can you-
to work on stuff.
What can you
Because
do for us?
yeah, because I mean, it's the safety. And so when we talk about grants that he's going to be getting, I've asked Brett that when he puts in the designs that he makes sure that we work on the safety. And that's one thing that I don't know if we're to that on the information, but Robert told me that last week when I was not able to attend because I was in wherever I was, Cedar City. He said that the one thing they talked about was that safety is a huge issue in the state of Utah. Well, if that's the case, then that means every single highway project that we put in or road project ought to have a big enough shoulder on it, even if we have to do, if this is the whole route that we're trying to do, we want to do half of it or a quarter of it to make sure that we make it wide enough to accommodate the larger vehicles and bicyclists and people that want to walk.
Pedestrians.
And so those are things that I've mentioned to Brett, and we need to concentrate on those kinds of things over the next years as we're doing projects.
Well, maybe we can, then somebody's here on November 3rd up at the meeting up in Colville, so hopefully.
I'm hoping.
And then when we put in for these grants, we need to write it that way because, you know, the way this one was written and the way this one's written is to pave. That's the reason that we got this grant is because we didn't take a small section to do that. It was written to improve a long section of road.
Overlay climate wrong.
That's the way it was written. That's how we got it. I see. Where, you know, if they was to give us money, we could add that to that grant. That's what me and you talked about. If that's even possible. Of course, they turned me down so far, but that'd be great if you could.
Bend their ear.
bend your ear on that kind of stuff.
So if by chance we can get additional monies in one way or another, we need to work on it. The local option sales tax would help if we could ever get it done.
And we can add that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because it comes down to shouldering and widening and guardrail and stuff like that. And that can eat up a lot of money, a lot of money.
Mhm.
Guardrail is crazy.
Probably in a hurry
In
too.
a hurry. Yeah, you can turn your 9-mile project into a mile real fast.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of funding to do it.
All right, thank you, Blaine, on that. Matt and Mike, Regional Growth Committee, they're obviously not here. Blaine and Robert on Active Transportation Committee.
That one is a lot easier. That one we've got the final plan, or we think a preliminary final plan will be coming out on the November 2nd meeting that we have. We're gonna have one on November 2nd at 6 o'clock at the county commission room. And at 6 o'clock, so if anybody wants to attend, it'd be great. And I know Teresa comes from the city, which is great, and Scott comes from the school district. And so that one will be going through, and we hope that they've made the corrections of what we told them last time. There's still a few things that I've got to get done between now and then with the Weaver Basin Canal. And one of the things that Governor Cox has requested is that we work on a complete trail system throughout the whole state that joins cities. And so that's one of the priorities that he's working on and funding for us is to complete it's not actually the Golden Spoke, it's called the State of Utah Trails Transportation Initiative. And he's working on helping us to get that going and help us with all these good stuff. I don't know if you weren't there on that one, but anyway, it's going. And I'm looking forward to it because that means we can start putting trails between us and each county in all the different areas along Highway 66, 65, Jeremy Ranch, whatever we gotta do, up to East Colville, up to down to Weaver Canyon, over to Trappers Loop. And that's one of the ones we're working on also is one through the Trappers Loop, the old Trappers Loop, potentially coming down through there. Snow Basin's willing to work with us on that, but it's the other landowners below that we've got to work with. And so those are some of the things that are happening on it. And then we have also one other extra project that is going along with the active transportation that Jared and I have been working on. That is we need some assistance. We don't need the assistance, but I need your input on a trails. Anywhere it's on, we've got the plan, whether or not we go ahead with this plan, and that is to put a paved trail up and down the river, Weaver River, through the fairgrounds, through different parts of the fairgrounds project that you need to look at. And it's a plan for the future, but I'd like to get it started this year. It's already in the works for us to work on a portion of it this next year and to apply for some outdoor tourism grants for that trails system. So they're just waiting for us to apply, but we weren't ready yet. So they were happy that Morgan County is at the table now for some of these dollars because they have not been in the past.
Good.
Okay,
When is that meeting?
which one?
Next month?
November 2nd at 6
Wow.
p.m. That's a Wednesday
6.
at 6. No, the third is
That'd be next Wednesday.
at 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's next week. The trails is on the 2nd, 3rd is the one in
Where's the
Summit County
trails?
in our meeting.
Be a special meeting on the council.
So Chair, can I make a comment?
What's that?
I want to make a comment. Sure.
Could I? So the trail along Commercial Street, we got a grant for outdoor recreation as a 50-50 match.
Right.
So if you're in a position to apply for an outdoor recreation grant, we have 2 years to do that one. We could probably do the trail at the same time or share a contractor if you are awarded a grant from the fairgrounds. Just
Okay.
putting that out there.
All right. I would like to do that. I'd like to have it completed within a year, but I don't know if we can. I want things to move faster than they're moving, but they're not.
Did you budget any match money?
What was that?
Did you budget any match money for this coming year?
We budgeted up to 400 grand, but that's all out of T-TAP. So that's all out of the tourism dollars. That was part of the budget that we put in there. We have that money available. If we need it, we'll do what we need to do. That's all I can do that much right now.
So
Okay.
Ty, are you suggesting that perhaps the same contractor that does the bridge may be able to do a portion of the trail?
No, it would be a separate. So after the bridge is complete, then we're gonna go back and do the
Okay,
trail. But the bidding on the bridge is type in federal.
You talking about?
whatever a good word, whatever a good word for that might be.
Okay,
Same
What I'm
trail.
saying is,
all right.
yeah, I'm just saying we could do it
At
like
least,
we've done on our street projects, you know, Brett and I could work together or something. I'm just saying if they have another one designed from the fairgrounds on and you put in for a grant,
On that little
if
bit.
we just need to time it, that would probably get more bang for buck if it's a little project, same contractor. That's all I'm saying.
So if the timing was right, it would be sort of a win-win situation then, right?
right,
Right. And instead of us stopping at the fairgrounds gate, so I'm just saying it'll be 2024, 2023 when we, probably spring of 2024 when we do our section of trail. So I'm just putting that out there if the county wants to.
When the state did 66, you know, they did 66 from the Y, all of it in the big mountain. They did guardrail. We tried to time Morgan Valley Drive a little bit behind that, just a little bit. And it worked out, you know, to get the bids from the contractors. It helped the price, we think. You know what I mean? Be the same kind of thing, you know, you could
Not the
work
cost down
together,
there.
give them a bigger job.
Makes sense,
Great idea, Ty.
makes sense.
so. Oh, it's way past that, yeah. It goes all the way up to the end of our property, which is almost a Reese, almost, yeah.
Is there a little private landowner right in there somewhere between the golf course and Morgan County?
Yes, Doucette's,
Okay,
and we're working on that.
okay.
If you got any connections, that'd be great.
They don't even live around here, do they? Or they're absentee owners or, yeah, okay. All right.
So those are some of the things that are happening with the trails and active transportation. We're working hard on that one. We need it for the economic growth of this county.
Yeah, we had a really nice discussion in our Morgan City planning meeting the other night. We was looking at our master plan and we was talking about economic development. Justin Reese, who's on the planning commission, is pretty heavily involved in tourism.
Right.
He has a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas and, you know, I mean, I think there's quite a lot that could be done. You know, we have quite a bit to offer.
Right.
So I think it's on everybody's mind and sort of on the front burner. So,
The nice thing is it can keep us rural too.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest goal, is to keep us rural as much as we can and bring in the economic development that we need, to be able to sustain and continue to get the sales taxes up
come to Morgan, spend your money.
and get home.
Yeah, I could say that, but yeah, okay. All right. Okay, thanks, Blaine. Anything else? The last one is Jared and Robert again on Transportation Coordinating Committee. So obviously, we're not going to be hearing from either one of those today. Denise, do we want to go into executive session now or after other business?
I'll just tell you one more thing.
I don't think that discussion qualifies to go into closed session.
Okay. We will not do that then. Thank you for keeping,
If you want to have the discussion, you can have it on one-on-one.
okay,
Just make sure there's not more than two people in the discussion. Blake.
okay.
We did.
Thank you for keeping us on the straight and narrow.
You have the discussion, then you can call us.
One at a time.
Other business, Brett, sounds like you have some other business.
Let me tell you, but we put in for a safe routes to school grant that was due last week, put in last Thursday. So this is, I worked with Scott on that one the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's Cottonwood Road, that is down by the airport.
Yeah.
Right, there's no sidewalk. You go down by the LDS church if you go on east.
Yeah.
And to that corner, there's no sidewalk there. There's a little section where the church is. But so price is $356,000 to do that. The match on Cottonwood Road. On Cottonwood Road.
How far are you gonna go on Common?
Well,
intersection. there.
yeah, from the intersection back to where there is sidewalk, the existing sidewalk,
Okay.
just tie that whole section together. Curb and gutter and sidewalk,
What's the match on that?
6.7%. They went, it was a state grant. They changed it this year to a federal grant, which made it a better deal.
I'll say. Yeah,
We'll see if we get it. We have, what's that?
It's gonna be 350,000.
362, what our price come up. That's what we put in for, 362.
That's how much we would have to pay for that part.
Oh, that's how much for the grant. We will pay 6.7 of 362. It'd be a great deal if we got it.
Yeah, that would be great.
A couple of things we have to do ahead of time. Pipe in an irrigation ditch.
24,000 roughly.
So we'll see if we get it. It'd be great if we did. It'd be a couple of years before we could do it.
Hey, Brett, this Ty.
Help us out at Wells. They're the ones that told us about putting in for a couple, 3 years.
Yeah,
Scott helped us out there.
Scott helps us out everywhere.
Yeah.
Sounds That's a worthy project, when it's needed.
Yeah, be great to get that done sometime.
Hey, Brett.
The Lost Creek Bridge, the Croyd Bridge, that's
Well,
still,
hopefully, I haven't been up there today. I've been too busy. Hopefully they start moving stuff by the end of the week and
so it's a
I'll
go.
go down to one lane if they do. They was waiting for something from the railroad, so hopefully they get what they need there. Go down to one lane next week if everything goes good, and then close it on the 15th of November. That would open it up on the 15th of March, 120 days later. So.
I don't have to drive that every day. Don't you want to go up to Francis Canyon every day now?
No.
For closer, for closer.
Okay,
Me and Scott's talking.
so that certainly affects the school district.
It takes 12 minutes to go from the Croydon exit up around to the county line.
Yeah.
12 minutes.
Up by the Croydon Cemetery, is that what you're talking?
Cemetery, yeah. So we've lowered the speed limit a little bit. We put them signs up. We put in different school bus stop signs. We've had to add that because you guys are adding another school bus, I think.
Yeah, we have, there's 2 routes up there now.
I'm gonna have to get up early in the morning to plow the sucker.
Yeah, 'cause that's a steep little road right there. It's a little pitch coming down by the Croydon Cemetery.
So we're all gonna have to do our part, I guess.
By the way, the last time I got a speeding ticket was when we had to go on that back road the last time. And I went whipping past Bill Hirsch's place over there and got pulled over by the Summit County. Anyway. They haven't done anything on the road. That's going to be quite a
Oh, and I've
project.
got a few calls on that. Our side, we've repaired some real bad spots just with grader overlay, nothing too fancy, but we've repaired that lower part, where it's kind of sinking a little bit. And then we widened the road best we can with shoulder. We've shouldered the heck out of it.
That's what's gonna happen over.
No, them trucks are gonna do.
Oh, you get
When they
the,
hit each, when they get close to each other.
you get those bulkers with 129,000 pounds, those bulk trucks, Bucksmith trucks. They'll hit that shoulder and they'll just.
We've even got a couple of rough road signs ready.
Especially if it
So
starts.
when the road gets
to
rough, right, we'll have our signs ready to put them out, so. I don't know.
I got asked about that. I said, well, I know that Brett has been working on our side of that thing, but Summit County, I can't speak for.
But I have talked to Summit County, the Public Works Director, and they're of course aware of it, Haven't done a whole lot about it, but it's coming. Well, it's gonna tear their road up just.
So it is. It is.
Their road is no better shape than ours.
It is what it is, but yeah.
That'll be money we'll look at to repair that next year, so.
Hopefully we'll get some money to do it.
It's gonna be interesting. All right. Well, thanks, Brett. Any other updates or any other business?
I'd like to ask another question if I may. I just want your opinion, all of our entities. What do you think of transit coming up to Morgan,
Like UTA or?
UTA, whatever it might be? I just want your opinion. So that way, if you want it, I will work towards that.
We had a discussion a few years ago. I remember we talked about this a little bit. We talked about Would you have enough interest in a, say, like a bus route from Morgan to, say, Weaver College, Weaver University? Would you have enough interest in a bus route from Morgan to Hill Air Force Base, to, Farmington Station, to, I don't know the answer to that.
That kind of, so to a front station.
Yeah, and which would be Farmington
Well,
Station.
that could be the closest one. don't
I
know
think-
Which one? would-
I think Farmington Station would probably be about your closest one, which is, yeah, the other day, I had 27 miles.
Whichever one.
27 miles from Morgan to Farmington Station when I looked at it the other day. And so that was a question that was asked 5 or 6 years ago is, is there going to be enough interest in that to make it feasible? And I don't know. We love our cars up here, we love to jump in our vehicles and go and have that freedom and that independence. And, I
know there's a ton of parking lot. And then get on something.
the parking right there, that South Weaver. Yeah, South Weaver, yeah.
How many do you think? What's a good estimate there? A lot of cars there, I know that.
All I know is us retired people don't, but
I don't know about Weaver,
County residents.
Weaver State University. I don't know if there'd be interest in,
I kind of doubt that one. That one doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I said,
what else?
I mean, maybe one to the, because obviously, is there a stop at the parking lot? I'm assuming there is.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
mean,
whole point behind it, right? And to me, that's about the only thing, either a front runner station or right to the parking lot, and that would be,
that would
you know,
be it.
that
There's
would
a
be
front runner
that.
station in Lake too.
Where they
Yeah,
could,
that's-
where they could transfer.
Yeah,
So most of the people that are going to that parking lot are going to Salt Lake.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 9 out of 10 are going to Salt Lake.
Good question, Wayne.
They don't wanna-
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know,
My wife drives to Salt Lake. And she don't.
I
don't think you would have to have a whole different mindset to do that.
Well,
I know.
my gut tells me,
Fuel prices are higher. I mean, I just don't see it being something that's.
well, there's a time issue there too,
But there's a huge time.
Yeah, there's a time issue. It's,
I mean, you've added an hour.
yeah.
My wife goes over Big Mountain, of course, in the summertime, but we live
Yeah.
a little ways up Porterville. It's really, she gets off of State Street and at 80. It works not too far, right?
Yeah.
And it saves her, she's 10, 15 minutes quicker. And then when it closes,
Oh, yeah,
oh yeah, she can be home in 45 minutes.
Besides that, it's a prettier drive.
yes,
She's only hit 4 deer in 1 year.
It's a lot less stressful.
a lot less stressful.
My gut,
She likes it.
my gut feeling is I don't know if it'd be used that much. That's just my personal feeling. I don't know.
Eventually, it probably will.
My question is this. All of us here are older. Okay? 10 years from now, is the public, you think, that moves into Morgan or that's coming to Morgan, do you think they might want something? Because it's gonna take 10 years to build something.
And you bring up a really good point right there, one I've thought a lot about lately, with other things as well. And that is, a lot of the people that have moved into the community see things a little differently than those of us that have been here for some time. This conversation came up the other day when we started having a conversation about making I'm on the board of directors of Wasatch Integrated, okay? The district's talking about a blue can being mandatory for every home in the district, And initially, my thought was, Morgan County people are gonna balk about having to pay a little additional for a blue can. And then somebody reminded me, and they said, but a lot of the people that are moving into the city and into the community almost expect one, because from where they've come from, it's what they're accustomed to, what they're used to. So that's a good point, it's gonna change for sure. you know,
in the future.
people's culture, yeah, but I don't know how much.
See, the question I have is with our economic development that is going to be occurring in Morgan County, more down towards Mountain Green than up here. But down in the Mountain Green area, you've got the interchange that's going to come in. With that interchange, do we want to try to plan something that is going to, you know, some kind of a transit, a station for the transit to that area? Because we're going to have to bring workers here. That's the other problem we have, is bringing workers to take over the jobs that we're going to have in Mountain Green. Because the people in Mountain Green go to the other side, or maybe they don't go to work except at home. I don't know. And that's a question that I'm having. And with the ski resort up there also, and with all the development that's going to be happening up there on, Trappers Loop, this is a question that I'm bringing toward you that we need to really start thinking about whether or not we want to do anything, because every year we make the discussion now, next year we're going to still have this same discussion without any, maybe by then we'll have a little bit more idea what's going to happen because of the interchange. But we need to start having these discussions if we want to keep our community the way we've got it or the way we want to keep it. We can't just go, well, okay, they're already coming. Now what are we going to do?
Yeah, and the other, I think there's a fair amount of people, I don't have any facts or figures on this, but I think there's a fair amount of people that have moved into our community that work remotely. That's why they've moved into our community. Now they have an opportunity to move into our community and still earn a paycheck by working remotely. So
That's right.
I don't know how.
So
Park and ride at Peterson's always.
That's,
It
I don't
is.
know if that's going to work.
yeah,
Some of that's
problem.
yeah.
Some of that's Wasatch,
me.
some of that's Wasatch.
A lot of it.
Peaks, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be 20 years
Yeah.
before
They
that's
don't want to
completely
drive
done.
up there, so they park them there.
That makes
It's
sense.
created somewhat of a hazard
That
too.
makes sense.
You can't see on that corner. and
It's been a headache for me.
All good questions, Wayne. I don't know.
I think your idea down there on the intersection, just need
Somebody out there.
to have a park and ride station down there where they can get right on. I have to sit down there, I can get it. It would take me to Salt Lake and I still have the ability to get my car and get home from there, but to come this much farther.
Yeah.
I think you would lose it because it would be reversed. I gotta go to Morgan and get on it. I just well drive down the canyon, but if you put it down there and you get the new off ramp, you see the growth around the ski resort. It's more
We
sensible to put it there.
we love our cars. I mean, drive down to Salt Lake during rush hour and you're in the HOV lane because there's 2 or 3 of you. And you're going, why isn't anybody else over this HOV lane? And you look at 4 lanes over and everything you see, single people.
Yeah.
They have an opportunity for public transportation down there, so I don't know.
Anyway, I want you
It's
to
a
get this
mindset.
into a thought process so that way I can be working toward that for next year.
It makes sense to, what Kelly said, probably start there and Morgan would go to there. Actually had pretty good, that UTA stop, they had a stop that went up to Snow Base and they would go and they just added the stop. and-
Yeah.
And absolutely reasonably well down there. Had one down at South Weaver too, for Snow Base.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's,
We were paying
Let's
for it as
build
a
a
county,
gondola.
7,000.
That development, I would think that would be, I would look into what would be down there.
Welcome to Morgan County. We ain't got no gondola. Anyway.
So anyway, that's something I want everybody to be thinking about in your different governments as to what we can possibly do to help mitigate influx of people or outflux of people or trying to keep us still rural as much as possible. Because it is going to be a development down there. The IBI study that we've got going for that area should be completed next month. They said next month. We hope that's the case. And that will help with the general plan whenever it gets completed. I have no clue. And so anyway, those are things I want everybody to start thinking about in your different planning meetings, the vision of what you're trying to think of in the future. These are things that are happening, coming to the county. And they're coming whether or not we want it or not. And we just want to try to have it planned in the right areas and not let them just take over.
Absolutely true.
So that's what I'm trying to work on.
Good point. Well, maybe it's time to move to Bags, Wyoming. Yes.
Not quite yet.
Anyway, is there any other business that needs to be brought before our COG? Any other? If not, why don't we just go ahead and adjourn the meeting? Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Denise. Appreciate your help in putting this together and keeping us out of trouble. And